By the time I was 4 years old, I was a full-blown sugarholic. I was always a very nervous, irritable kid. My mother could never handle me. And I was sick, had these headaches all the time. And my mother, to appease me, used to take a piece of cloth and put cornstarch in it and sugar. And I would suck on this. This would appease me. And all that sugar rotted out. And by the time I was 4 years old, my baby teeth had all rotted out. And by the time I was 10, 11, 12 years old, I had this uncontrollable temper. I was 30 pounds underweight. On the one occasion, I tried to kill my brother. And another time, I was thinking about suicide. You can't believe it. It was a hell on earth, absolutely. Then when I was around 14 and a half or so, I was a troublemaker in school, couldn't participate in sports because I was so skinny. And the school authorities told my mother and father to take me out of school, because they couldn't handle me. I was a troublemaker and all that. So I was a shut-in. Here I am at home. And one of our next-door neighbors, her name was Mrs. Joy, she said, "Mrs. LaLanne, we know the trouble you're having with Jack with his health. There's a lecturer that's acting at the Oakland Women's City Club. He's a he's a nutritionist and, mostly food, eating good food." So my mother finally talked me into going to this lecture at the Oakland Women's City Club. And the place was full to overflowing. And my mother and I were, we were going to leave because there were no seats available. And the lecture had already started. And he said, "Look, lady with a boy, we don't turn anybody away." He said, "Ushers, bring 2 seats up, put them on the stage." And there my mother and I sat in front of these hundreds and hundreds of people. And here I am, I'm wearing glasses, pimples and boils, skinny little kid, 30 pounds underweight. I was just so nervous. I was sweating and my head was aching. I knew all those people were looking at me. Little did I know that they had problems too. Anyway, that lecture continued. He was so forceful. He kind of screaming, he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, it matters not what your present condition is, matters not what your age is. If you obey nature's laws, you can be born again." I'm like this. Here I'm this little weak, sick, terrible kid. This man said I could be born again. I wanted to go out with girls. I wanted to participate in sports. I wanted to wake up in the morning without any aches and pains. This man said I could do it. I went home that night. I'm so enthused. Remember, you know what I was eating in those days? I was a full-blown sugarholic. And if there's anybody that knows what I'm talking about, you know how many people are hooked on sugar? It is as bad as on dope or booze or anything. This sugar destroys the B vitamins and so many minerals in your body. Your mind is affected all the time. You don't have any energy or vitality. I went home that night, and I got on my knees, and I said, "Dear God or somebody, I need help. Give me the willpower to refrain from eating these foods that are killing me." That night, I went strict vegetarian because that lecturer was a vegetarian. I joined the Berkeley, California YMCA, and the rest is history. Within 2 weeks, my headaches left, my energy doubled, my uncontrollable temper, my God, even like my brother and my mother and father. I was born again. If something saved your life, Karen, would you be enthusiastic about it? That's why I'm so enthusiastic. That's why I go to them lectures. I tell these folks, if you obey nature's laws, you can be born again. How do people die? Most people work at dying. They don't work at living. You got to eat right. You got to exercise and think right. Would you get your dog up in the morning, give him a cup of coffee, a cigarette, and a donut? Why are you laughing? You'd kill the dog. But look at how many millions of Americans get up this morning with a cup of coffee, a cigarette, and a donut. They wonder why they're sick, why they're tired. They're working at dying. I have a new Corvette. Would I put water in the gas tank? It wouldn't run, would it? Your human machine's no different. You put junk in here, junk out. You put good, live, vital foods in the body, energy and vitality comes out. What do you think these 80 trillion cells in your body are made of? The food you put in your mouth. Who puts the food in your mouth? Did God ever come and eat breakfast for you? I never heard 5 o'clock in the morning I work out. "Jack, this is Jesus. I'll work out for you today." God helps them that help themselves. Anything happens to you, or to you folks that are listening, or to me, anything happens to me, good or bad, don't blame God, don't blame the government, blame yourself. You made it happen.